what a deal I'm getting on this wig. It's like 80% off. I paid like next to nothing for this. I found out that it is discontinued. I debated about whether I should show you or not because, you know, what's the point? Unless you already own it. And my thought process in showing this to you now is to look at the color. I should find that out if this color is being discontinued too. The charger. I like to shop on the clearance sections, online retailers. When you look at a website, usually at the top, it'll have a home page or menu option where you can look at sales, clearance, overstock, open box, and that's where I start. I start there first. I might look at what's new. I really like Vogue wigs and Best Wig Outlet. Buying wigs like Noriko, John Rene, Envy, Raquel Welch in a local store, buying from a retailer in a building, it's going to cost way more than it is online. Online, it's going to have free shipping mostly and some kind of discount. So those are some deal breakers for me, and I will walk away from a pretty good deal if I don't get free shipping and at least some percentage off. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 is where I'm looking, but not 5 to 10. There's just too much selection and offerings available that you don't really have to just settle for 5% or 10% and pay shipping. Yeah, so that's kind of where I shop from online. Now, I know there are online Facebook groups and QVC. Facebook groups are cool because you get to see wig shows, and I think there are some on YouTube too, like Tia Maria Wigs. They do live sales, live shows, where they're taking them off and putting them on, and the wig that you actually see is the one you're bidding on or requesting to buy. And you can talk to them right there and then. You can actually communicate with them and tell them that's the wig that I want. And that's really, really neat because you can see it on a face you may not necessarily be familiar with. You get to see these wigs in colors and styles that are on people you may not be familiar with. And what I mean by that is, I know myself, I'm pretty comfortable with the ones on YouTube that we see all the time that are usually in our feeds, like Beth and Stacy from Wear Wigs With Me, Taz, Denise. There are regular faces we trust. But on Facebook and the live sales, it gives you variety and other face shapes and other styling options that I find very helpful in whether I feel like I could work with something like it or not. And then you actually get to see the actual piece that's coming in the mail to you. You get to actually see the box hair that it might have or not have, or the curl that it might have that may be lacking in a review that you saw, because sometimes I'll go out and look for a review and find 3 or 4, and the style will look completely different on every review that I'll see. And colors will look different on different channels, and curl patterns will be different too. So that's what's really cool about Facebook groups and live sales. I have always struggled to find the time to sit and watch them when they're live, and that's the best time to watch them because you get your bid in. When I've been able to go back and watch them after the fact, when I have the time, I will usually just get to see what didn't get picked up or what got picked up but didn't get paid for. So it isn't a total loss. And I do still find value in them, even not watching them live, because again, I can see a style on somebody that I may not be as familiar with. And it helps me make an informed decision when I am ready to buy one that I find. And it isn't a bad thing to buy something that's discontinued, like I have here. I paid less than $50 for this, for a Rene of Paris. That's what dawned on me later was, how is this such a reasonable deal? You know, I immediately thought that it maybe had been sold and returned and resold and then returned again. I just couldn't fathom why until I started to look at maybe who has reviewed it and just kind of see what it was like. And that's when it came up in the search on Google that it was discontinued. What happens for me is that I want to go spontaneously live. It's not really fair to be in a style that you might like and say, I want that, and can't get it. So I do try to be mindful of that, but I think I got really excited when I saw what I could potentially pick this up for, and I couldn't believe it. There's no returns or exchanges on a lot of these, so when you're buying from, say, Tia Maria or Kitty in Canada, a lot of these ladies, this is their sole income. They have purchased the inventory with their own money, and then they're selling it to us at sometimes a really good deal. And then when you send them back, and the zigzag part's been jacked up, and tags are off, or the tissue in the box is torn, and you could tell that it wasn't brand new. So that's what you want to really think about when you're thinking about sending one back. And so I know there are places that will charge you a restocking fee for them to take it back and re-put it into their inventory. They'll charge you $5, $10, things like that, to help them with the loss they're going to take selling it again. It's just business, and I understand that, and it makes total sense to me. So I have had issues with trying to send something back. It made me watch a lot of YouTube as much as I could to be sure that when I was making a decision and getting a purchase and it was coming to me and I was getting it out of the box, that what I was expecting from what I was seeing was what I would be getting. And for a window of time, that was very elusive. It was very difficult to find a review that you were going to see exactly what was coming out of the box. And that's when I started showing what I was getting, because I had a wig that was $300 or $400 and couldn't get rid of it. So in my head, I just looked at this as a loss anyway. So instead of putting it, I couldn't even imagine donating it. Who would want something that could possibly be on somebody's head? You know, we have issues with bringing in things from thrift stores because of potential, bed bugs. I just looked at a wig as a total loss if I couldn't do something with it. And so that's when getting creative and cutting in bangs and pinning them up and being able to make them work was something that seemed so fun. So, what's your experience with returning wigs? Has it been like mine? Where I'm at the point now, I'll just never return it anyway, so. Have you ever been adventurous to take a wig that you couldn't return or didn't work out for you and do something drastic with it, cut it, maybe. Be fun to know. Yeah. Good to see you.